Yeah, that's right.
I got some work Saturdays. Some work Saturdays. That's right.
I decided to mow the yard last year on a major. Everything else is okay.
15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, I went overboard. I was up there 2 hours. Yeah. Yeah, I went to the tank. I thought it was. Yeah.
Voucher here. I did it on the,
People.
keep this down here with me.
He's like, you could burn quick there.
Time is now 6 o'clock. This meeting is called to order. Roll call, Sandy Birch present, Bob Reinhardt,
Here.
Scott DeLong,
Here.
Stacy Helpers. Here. Sandra Hicks. Here. Let's please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And this meeting is being recorded, so anyone who speaks is giving permission to be recorded and posted to our YouTube channel and the town website. Virtual participation is not monitored, so you can virtually watch the meeting, but if you need or want to speak, it must be in person. So first thing on the agenda is the minutes from our May 28th public meeting and June 24th executive session. Do we have any additions or corrections to these? And if not, looking for a motion to approve.
No additions or corrections. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
And the executive session minutes.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are the claims of June docket, from May the 24th through June the 20th, the amount of $380,617.13. Do we have any discussion on this?
No questions.
No questions.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have the fund report balance. The May 2025 fund report in the amount of $5,745,551.06. So if there's no discussion, I make a motion to approve.
No second.
Any second?
5 seconds.
Yeah, that's
All
it.
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, sewer adjustments, we have sewer adjustment request form, the amount of $583.16. All paperwork has been here. Do we have any discussion on those?
Looks good.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
There's no other one, right?
No. Okay, sorry, I have that noise.
What is it?
I don't know.
Well, some of you are here.
Stacy. I got a big enough mouth, I don't know. Okay, sorry about that, but who motion, who seconded?
I second.
Who did first?
Sandy.
Okay, thank you.
Got derailed by the sound.
I was like,
Okay, and then we have the June 2025 adjustment report.
that's the one we signed.
And this is in the amount of negative $313.40.
Is it 345? 345.45?
313, oh wait.
Go for the.
Oh, yeah, 345.45.
Okay.
Negative $345.45. Do I there any questions about this?
No questions, I'll make a motion to approve the June 2025 adjustment report.
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, sewer project update.
Okay, well, first we have the pay application number 8, in the amount of $150,351 to SLB.
Randy, has everything been completed to pay this?
I had not looked at it, but I'd say so. The initial start, or the initial part is done, other than slip lining through here. And then started on change order number 4. That was secondary thoughts.
Okay, the amount is $150,351. I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I noticed that included
Yes.
slip lining on Shredder.
Yes.
No, that's not for that.
Oh, that's on the other.
That's on the change order.
That's on the change.
So change order number 4.
That's what this is. Here is a bigger copy, but if you can't see all the pictures, I sent it to you guys in
I
an
looked
email.
at it today.
I didn't see
But
I just got the.
this is the one that printed to where the pictures were good, but I tried to print it so you could read it easier. So this is just a duplicate if you need to look at anything else.
Did you guys all have a chance to review? Any questions?
Nope.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and this is just a notification, right? The project walkthrough is scheduled for the week of July the 7th.
Yeah, that's where they're gonna have the list of, make sure everything's done the way it's supposed to. I don't know if any of you wanna attend. I don't know, I don't have an exact date as of right now. But, this is what they told us at the last meeting, that it'll be sometime the week of July 7th.
Okay, please let us know when you have it scheduled.
Yep.
Thank you. All right, the water project, we have the engineering services agreement and the study.
They were supposed to be on here, but I keep looking and they're not on here, so, this is the agreement. This is the letter from Eric Smith that you might, I sent it to you guys, but I don't know if you've seen it or not, or had a chance to read it, but.
I'll just read this. After we last spoke, I sent an email indicating that our total fees prior to the town getting financing after bidding would be approximately $510,000, but that if we could cover around $200,000 of that, then we could cover the rest until financing, so the town would not need to get a ban, which is a bond anticipation note. Assuming that is acceptable and doable for you, we have an engineering services agreement for the project ready for approval. The SRF project priority list has been issued and 4 bridges on it, although outside the fundable range, which we expected. All that means is that you will need to use pool financing, which is where SRF pools several projects together into one financing, generally a few times per year. Baker Tilly based your rate study on pool financing, which is about 5% higher, 0.5% higher than the SRF subsidized rate. Is the town ready to proceed with the engineering so we can get you to a point in which you can get funding and complete the project? We can send and be ready to review with the council tomorrow night if you would like. Let us know how you would proceed and if you want to discuss. So I didn't join.
They were supposed to, but maybe
So
they're,
if we have to come up with that 200 and something up front, is that,
well, it would just be, they would bill us as we go, and I put a fund report in there, and so it would have to come out of sewer improvement.
The water.
I'm sorry, water
Water
improvement.
improvement, okay. All right,
And you can see the,
we have that.
Yeah.
Did you want to see?
it wouldn't be 200,000 all at one time.
Mhm. Do you guys have any questions?
We make transfers on a monthly basis for stuff.
do you feel good about it? I'll make a motion to move forward with the self-funding to avoid the bond anticipation lien.
I'll second it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
If they pop on here, if you have any questions for them.
I think I understand.
Yeah.
It's in order to move forward with that water project, so if we don't do it, it doesn't move forward, so.
Okay. Moving on to citizens' concerns, first on the list is community pride.
Dr. Go there.
Yes,
Yeah.
please. So sorry, Lisa.
Could you please state your name and address when you get up there?
And the reason is because we're recording it, and if you
I
sit
know.
there, they can't
But
hear.
my voice is loud, guys, but, you know, I'm Lisa Duff with Community Pride. Just a couple of things. I don't know that I ever told you guys when the haunt is this year. It's October 23rd and 24th. Because of how, right, Ron? I was going to double check that. Because Halloween falls on a Friday night, so it's the weekend before, and I already got it all reserved. The other thing, you know, for a year, we've been talking about the mats for ADA.
24th, 25th, Lisa.
Oh, 24th, 25th. I'm wrong. Friday, Saturday?
Friday, Saturday.
Okay. So about a year ago, you know, we talked about the ADA mats coming, helping raise money for that. I have, someone reached out to me this week, not 100% sure. They may be able to pay for all the mats to be done. They want the ADA mats at the Vine Street Park. That'll help cut down the cost of mulch and everything else. If they do it, they will pay to have it drained, whatever they need to do the right way. It's just in the talks. Hopefully in the next month or so, we'll have more information for you guys.
And that's on the Vine Street Park?
That's the Vine Street Park. And Haley's not here, so I don't really know what she's got planned.
She's been communicating with us via email, a whole bunch of quotes from 2 or 3 different organizations that do that kind of work, you know, at Marlette. And she's also looking into funding options. And right now, it's really just been the last 2 days, and it's been kind of a barrage of information. Honestly, I haven't had time to look through all of it, and I'd be shocked if anyone else up here had.
So as far as the mats, I will keep you updated. If this, it's not an individual doing it, but this individual's working on some money to do it. But each mat is $20 a piece, so it's an expensive project. So hopefully in the next month or so, they will know more if they can do it or not, but they would like it, just for FYI, at the Vine Street Park.
Okay.
So, you know, that's all I got.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thanks for the update.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you.
Okay, Alan Matsuda, anybody here? Okay, moving on. Mike Geiswig? Not here. Gary Cochran? All right. You come up here and state your name and your address and your concerns.
Gary Cochran, 500 Strain. And I guess that Dr. Chair looking at is going to be concerning the corner of such property where we're continuing to have trouble with people running over that corner. Can't keep people off of it. Every time I go out there and repair that corner, somebody comes along and runs right over it again. I have submitted many pictures of that corner. Sunday I went out there and repaired it again. I even mounted it up a little higher. Hopefully that would deter people, but no, they still ran over it twice since Sunday. I have a video of the second one that did it today. I actually spotted him. It was a groundskeeper for my neighbor on the other side of Walters. I don't know what to do about this corner. I've tried to take care of it. I've tried fixing it, but somebody comes right along and destroys it again. We did agree the last time I was here that I would put concrete in there. As I attempted to put concrete in there, I also barricaded that corner to protect that concrete as I was going to pour it the following morning. But I got drug out of the house during dinner, told me to remove those barricades, don't put them back up there again. So I don't know what else to do. I'm tired of working on that corner. If it is my responsibility to take care of that corner, then we got to come up with a solution. Because I'm not going to be a slave to our, you know, our ordinances.
I think we had a communication problem. I mean, this council certainly agreed openly for you to be able to put that concrete on there. I think us and maybe the police force or whatever, there was some miscommunication. We'll take full responsibility for that, okay? We still support you being able to put that concrete there if you would like to do it. But I have a question for you. So just in general around the town of Fort Branch, what are your thoughts on who should police people running over curbs on corners? Like,
I'm not asking for police, I'm asking for solutions to resolve. I've looked around all over town, and there are so many concrete poles on those corners, protecting those corners, and I'm the only one that's not allowed to protect it.
So we already said it's okay to put the concrete. So is this the one that we had a message about this week, that there was like we didn't know you were that you had intended to do that? So we did okay for you to put the concrete there. But we can't barricade the street without knowing. So I think there's business. So can you schedule it again? And
Okay,
then,
so yes, there was a misunderstanding. So if I'm gonna barricade it, I just let you know that I will be barricading that corner before I do it.
Yes.
I have no problem with that.
Yes.
Difference between barricade and a post. You can't put a post in,
Okay, let's define barricade.
but you put a cone,
A what?
a cone, or
Rubber
cone.
cone?
Yeah.
Sure, no problem.
You can't put something in there from here to you.
if you know the location of where other people are putting metal devices such as stake type devices or pipe type devices to protect the
photos.
corner, let us know because
You have photos.
that's not allowed.
Those are those pictures.
Oh, that's what these are? Do we have addresses or,
So this is actually like on the other side of his property.
okay, so whose cone is that? You don't know?
There's a-
No, I don't know whose cone it was.
Randy, would you guys have put that cone there? It's on Strain Street.
Yeah, it's on Strange, it's probably down.
Across from here, this one I'm thinking of, it's a collapsible cone, because he had the same problem with the liquor truck. It's been there for 2 weeks and nobody's touched the cone, so. I mean,
I tried a cone once, they ran right over it. Wish it flat.
I think this is the one he's talking about here.
Yeah,
Right there.
yeah, this is.
So let's go ahead and put the concrete there. Just let us know when you're gonna do it.
Okay.
And then we can put cones there where it's safe. Okay, but it's still protected.
Okay.
Okay? And we'll go from there.
Now, recently, and I don't know if we have a problem with this, but recently I've been parking my work van there. Nobody runs over that corner when that van is there.
If you park it on the street on Walters.
Yes.
The only issue I've come across is bus drivers called and said they have a hard time getting around there. That's the only complaint I see.
Yeah, I saw one bus driver having difficulties, and I moved the van up a little bit further so he can make that corner. Especially, I guess, during the construction on Strain, because that's not their route normally.
The only thing that I would ask if you do is
This one is,
park the van forward away from the curb.
that should be.
That if somebody does turn off the Strain Street,
Yep.
they can stop behind your van.
That was in.
I try to do so, because I know that, you know, there's a certain distance there where if they see that van, they will cut it wider to get around that corner.
It's protecting the sign because it's been knocked down. That's protecting the fire. That's protecting the sign.
He didn't show up to get the key.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's probably.
So- You're there?
If you actually know he's gonna do that.
But we didn't do anything with it.
Okay, we'll put the cones up. Okay? So if you just call town hall and let them know when you want to do it, and they'll take care of it.
Okay, sounds good.
Is this the guy that's talking?
Thank you.
I have one other thing, it's a different thing altogether, if you want me to wait.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
And I don't know if this has been brought up before in the past, but I would like to raise a discussion and awareness of these kids running around with these motorized vehicles. We all know that we had an extremely dire accident just a few weeks ago. This 14-year-old kid was almost killed. Ever since I moved here, I've watched these kids blow through these stop signs like they're not even there. Even this afternoon on the way here, I followed a kid, not 13 years old, running on a motorized scooter on his way over to the basketball and baseball fields. I followed him over there, and he went through 3 stop signs without even looking. One of them looking back at me while he was going through the intersection. I followed him in there, and I explained to him how important it is to stop those stop signs. He understood. He acted like he took it to heart. And after he left there, I followed him a little bit more. He was definitely stopped at that point. So my question is, I remember growing up, I would kill to have something like that to run around town. I'd love it if these kids get to run a motorized vehicle around town. But this is dangerous. Has anybody ever considered maybe coming up with some kind of program for these kids, some kind of learning program about following the rules of the road?
So they actually they do have to follow the rules of the road. And if our law enforcement sees that, they will address it.
Yeah, so,
Mhm.
and the next day, they'll be safe.
Do we have some kind of training program? Back when I was growing up, in the 4th grade, local police came to our school and they gave us lessons of the rules of the road. We all rode bicycles back then. We all learned a lot in the 4th grade, and we all pretty much followed that. Is there not any kind of education program here for that? Can there not be one? I mean,
I think maybe that would fall up underneath school resource officers in the event if something were to happen like that. It's funny that you brought this up because it was on kind of my list of things to talk about that.
I apologize.
No, it's actually awesome. So the electric scooters, the technology has gotten better and better. Literally a scooter that's electric, that has a stick on it. And those things move really, really fast. Over the years, we always dealt with the moped type 50cc scooters. And these things, I'm not so sure that they don't go from 0 to 20 faster than a 50cc scooter does, or a moped. So it's something the council is going to have to talk about or think about with regards to, is there a need for an ordinance on these things? I don't have the answer right now. I think we need to study it and think about it, but I do feel like there could be a need for some sort of ordinance to govern these things because they're just so fast. Kids are going to break the law, and they don't have signals, they don't have brake lights, yet they exceed the ability of a 50cc scooter, which has to have a stoplight, which has to have a headlight, which has to have turn signals. So it begs the question, why does one motor vehicle with a certain set of capabilities have a set of applicable laws and the other one does not? For me, that's at least a concern. It's something that we need to talk about.
They fall under the same technology.
From my understanding, anything on 2 wheels of the public roadway has to follow the same rules of the road.
That's right.
I don't think, personally, I don't know if more ordinances is going to really help. I think a better education program. If these kids knew, if they understand what they're supposed to be doing, they'll do it. They just need to be taught.
Well, I don't know. It's been my experience when you hit people in their pocketbook that does seem to have a positive impact.
Sure.
And they're 12, 13 years old, and they're 12 at the top of the for sometimes, and they don't
Yeah.
always make the right decisions, and that's where parents come in and education, and if nothing else, an ordinance, perhaps, if the council wants it.
I would love, okay, yeah, so, and we all feel like maybe parents are really ultimately responsible for this, but hey, I'm sorry, but, I believe that there's a lot of parents out there that aren't responsible.
That's true. And I don't dismiss your education idea out of hand. I do think maybe it's worth mentioning to our resource team for South Gibson Schools and see if they would be interested in something like that,
I think it'd
especially
be a
in
great
light.
program for the resource officers. I mean, they're right there, they know them, they trust them.
I'm happy to bring it up to them. I know them well, so I'm happy to do that and see what they think.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, next on the list of the library, Laura.
Hello, Laura Hoppy, Director of the Fort Ridge and South Library. I will just finish that last conversation. If the resource officers cannot get in the schools through the summer. Never into the library, but able to hold that. So let them know that.
Thank you.
So I'm here to talk about our water issue with the library. Just want to give a basic overview, so we're all starting from the same page. So you came to us about the amount of water on the street. The main concern was the ice. We had our architect and 2 other companies look at it unanimously. They said to bore to the storm drain on Church and Locust. You gave me permission to talk to Randy and kind of work with him. I was really hoping that we could do it something in conjunction with work that you guys were already doing around town, but now realize there's not gonna be any work that you guys are doing on Locust Street. So that's kind of out the window. We know that you asked the engineer about us completing the boring and that his response was he's gonna be responsible for the pipe after it's laid. So, and it's also my understanding you haven't answered that yet. So that brings us to tonight. Will you allow us to bore on the street, use the street and bore down to Church and Locust so that that water is no longer on the street?
So I think we discussed this, and I think our concern is if that drain were to fail and you have a backup in the library, the town doesn't want to be responsible.
Okay, and I haven't spoken to anyone about this, but what if we, what kind of valve is that? Like a check valve? If it would get to that point, if we could put a check valve on the street so that if and when that would possibly happen, it would flow onto the street rather than into the library.
That would be helpful, but I think at the end of the day, we don't only need mechanical protection, we need legal protection.
Okay, I agree with that. So if you say yes, we can do this, I would have my lawyer draw something up, stating that we have this agreement, who's responsible for it. If there are issues, who's responsible. If we're able to put a backup valve to release onto the street, have that in the agreement. And then I would also like to have an agreement that states that this agreement overrides any ordinance that you may put in place in the next year and a half or something like that. Like, I don't want to do this and 6 months down the road, you go, well, we don't like how that looks either, so we're gonna write another ordinance. I mean, I can't put tens of thousands of dollars into this unless we have an agreement. So I agree with the whole legal thing.
Would that actually go under the sidewalk? At HWC, that makes more sense to me that would go under the sidewalk, not actually under the street.
So one of the companies did look at that and they estimated it out and it was going to be more expensive.
Really? Okay.
To do under the sidewalk. So that's the only response I can give to that.
Okay.
I feel like we would be willing to definitely look at an agreement like that. We just need to know the details of it.
Okay. So you're saying yes. Yes, that we have, if we have an agreement.
Approval of the design and the agreement, it sounds like something that we would be interested in.
And can I send that to you prior to the meeting so you have time to look at it? Or
Yes,
would you rather
please do
me
that.
just bring it?
Please send it to us, we can review it, and then we can discuss it and vote on it in the meeting. So if you can send it to us individually, we can't discuss it till the meeting, but if you can send it to us, we can all review it. And then when you come to the meeting, we can ask you questions.
Okay. Sandy, I think I only have your email. If I emailed you, would you share the other emails?
Or you can send it to me and I can send it to all of them. And
Okay.
Sandy.
Okay,
That would be great.
I will do that. My board is here tonight, so I'm just gonna introduce them real quick. This is Deb Nichols. Suzanne Steinmetz, Rebecca Lamb, Ted Hall, Dave Draper. And Crystal is the employee of the library. So if you guys ever have questions, you are welcome to talk to any of them.
Okay.
But I will thankfully have more news by next month.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you for the due diligence.
Oh, they do have one question, because this will be the next question for them. they feel like this is our problem and your problem, and they would like you to help pay for this.
We don't necessarily agree that it's our problem. It wasn't a problem until the library was expanded. Do you have a different opinion? We didn't have a water problem until you guys did your expansion. And we have very limited funds. I know you guys do too, but very limited. And with new legislation that was just passed, it's gonna be even worse next year, as you probably know as well. So we have to be very careful. But with that being said, we'd be willing to probably look at grant opportunities and to assist with that if there was anything out there, or I'd be willing to help if possible. But what kind of price do you think? Do you have estimates yet?
Well, yes, but they were from October of last year, so I'm sure they're no longer good. But, I mean, tens of thousands. So, okay.
Laura, this is something to think about. So I'm not going to be surprised if the gym doesn't have a similar problem when it's complete. There's no drain. There's nowhere for the roof water to go. I don't know where they plan on sending it. I don't know if they can come around the east side and tie into what you're doing. I'm just throwing that out there, that there might be an opportunity to share costs somehow. Not that they have any money either. But they're gonna have a similar issue. I think, maybe they have a better plan. I don't know, but.
I will speak with them.
Okay.
I will speak with them. Any other questions then?
No, I only think that part of the problem is the storm sewer system in the town. We don't have an adequate.
That's right, but it didn't change. It's the same as it was. And we actually are working on our storm sewers. But as far as the sewers going down Locust Street, there was not a change to that when the library expansion happened. You see what I mean? So there was no water problem there until, there must be some spring or something. We've talked about it, but you guys tapped into it there, which is there's no way to know that could happen. It's really unfortunate.
I have a question. What happens when we board? We pay to have somebody board, and we hit something under that street because no one knows what's under it.
Well, there's methods to see what's under it. So 811 can come, there's engineering who can look at it as well to see what potential things there are. It's just one of those things, you hit something, we have to deal with it.
Is that gonna be a
Our
financial responsibility?
engineering team at the firm has mapped the entire town, so the data should be available.
It's still a lot of hidden.
Still, yeah, I mean, there's.
I mean, anytime you get a dirt or grains, it's a surprise.
No guarantees.
That's right.
Can I make a suggestion? I don't know, I probably don't know what I'm talking about, but last time I viewed from, they make use of detention ponds. Does Fort Branch not use detention ponds?
Really not an option here, in this particular instance.
8 million gallons.
Sewer plant.
The sewer plant, I mean, we do have that out there, right? But as far as in town, there's not space for them to add. If they could, they would. If they had space in the library, they would have something there too. There's no green space that they're landlocked.
When we can get stormwater to where it's supposed to be, we don't have a problem getting it out of the town. It's just a problem getting it where it's supposed to be. And all the roads you've seen tore up around town are getting stormwater out of the sewer, which was going into our sewer plant, reducing the capacity that we could process from a sewer standpoint. And that was a huge problem. So hopefully all this work eliminates that, effectively increasing the capacity of the sewer plant, which can allow growth and expansion in this town from a business standpoint, housing standpoint. Until we did this, IDEM said, you guys can't add anything else in the town of Fort Branch. You guys are done. So hopefully we fix that.
Just a statement. No one mentioned, a lot mentioned about the financing for this project. As a citizen, not a board member, and not a, a person trying to, want my way, think my way is only the right way, but just as a citizen of Port Ranch, I would think that the financial obligation there may fall, what you feel is directly entirely on the library, but when you say it's because the water problem wasn't there until the addition was built, which is true, not denying it. But really, the water problem was there before the building was built, it was just not brought to the surface until the building was there. So, in a sense, yes, it wasn't there, but it was there. So the town, in a sense, still shares some responsibility as far as the cost, and in my opinion, this is my opinion, in what was taking place, because the library is there as a shining star point for this entire town. It helps this entire town with everything. And to me, the town should be willing to invest in it just like they would any other thing or any other public service building or parks or anything else where there's a problem that needs to be taken care of. But sometimes you don't know there's a problem until something like this happens. So I would ask you to reconsider at least partially investing with us in this project to pay for these expenses, understanding the financial restrictions that we're all under right now. Not just you guys, but every taxpayer and everything that is in this town, because I pay taxes like all of us here do. So at least consider that before you say no, or before you say it's not our responsibility. We understand the library is going to share the bulk of this, but we would like for the town to be involved, because it would show us that you guys are as well involved in what goes on in the library, and that whole block now is going to be a great asset to the community even once the agenda's done too. So please take that into consideration.
Thanks, Dave. But please don't take our position as being anti-library in any way at all, and we share your support. And just like everybody else, we're limited. I think what happened here was all the engineering showed how much water was going to come off of that roof. The engineering didn't show, if you hit the best well I've ever drilled in Fort Branch, Indiana, how much water was going to come out of it. So it's super unfortunate.
It's just like we just mentioned about getting something when you drill. You never know what you're going to get until you get into a project, and there's always going to be contingencies. So I'm just asking you to take that into consideration, because if it was ViewTech, or if it was the apartments, or anything else around here that the city's been involved in trying to help, sewer and water when they built those things, I think, they may have, taken on the responsibility, most of the cost of all that and that. But I think, again, the town would look at it and say, we want to try to help. We maybe can't do everything, and maybe we can't do everything you're asking for, but we want to help some, try to figure out a way. And that's all I'm asking. See if we can figure it out. Thank you.
Looks fair.
Thank you. Were there any other citizens' concerns? The last one was Haley Ziliak in the park playground, so she's been communicating with us about that, so we'll just table it till next month. Hopefully she can make it. Unfinished business, we have an update on Franklin Lane. So,
You filled the,
We put rock in it.
okay, good. All right, thank you. The alley between the library and the old gym. Any update on that?
no, you told me to put it on there, you guys were gonna
Yeah,
talk about it
so
some more.
we do need to discuss it more. This is, go ahead.
I'm just going to say, we talked about, what's that term, Stacy, for de-allifying the alley?
Abandoned.
Abandoning the
Yeah,
alley.
abandoned in the alley.
And making it privately owned so that there might be an opportunity for TIF funds, because right now the county council is saying, well, that's on the town because that's a plotted alley and it's the town's responsibility to pay plotted alleys, which means in that case, it just goes on our list and we wait for community crossing funds and it'll get done when it gets done.
I think that there's an ordinance in place that you cannot pay balances. The town of Fort Branch does not pay.
Correct. So, but we would like to see it paid.
We would. yeah.
Okay, so we feel like we have a really nice library, we're gonna have a really nice community center, and we don't want that to stay a gravel road. So how can we make that happen? How can we help that happen quickly? So one of the things that we discussed last month was to make that not be a town alley anymore, and to give that property back to not back to it, but to the library and the
Or the
community
gym.
center. Yeah,
You'd have to, if you abandon it,
it has
it'd
to
go
be
half and half.
split, has to be split.
But I need to bring up a point that I believe there's utilities in that alley, and so I don't know how that works.
You would have to
If the
have
town wants to pay it, why don't they just make a street and add it to your street control?
It's just gonna take a long time, that's the point of that. It's
Trying
gonna
to
be
get that
years
faster.
before it gets paved, Randy, if we do that.
And we were trying to work around the excuse that the county council has of the fact that it's owned by the town.
Right, so, the cost of it, they won't let the gym add it to their TIF funds because it doesn't belong to them. So, and then they won't give it to us, but they won't let us apply for it either because it's a alley that would need to go on our community process, change their look on the street. So it's a complicated thing.
So could we abandon it and perhaps deed it to someone with a utility easement for us to be able to do?
So
I think that might be something that we can do. I was looking at the ordinances and I just ran out of time to do everything. It looks like to vacate it or abandon it has to be not really used. So,
It's used.
it's used. So I was thinking maybe we could
Deed it.
deed it,
Mhm.
quit claim deed with an easement, a utility easement for the town, so we could still maintain what we have.
Can you look into that? And I would think, in my opinion, we would want to deed it to the gym, just because they're still in the process right now.
I don't know.
Well, let's
that's why I
just
wanted to look into
investigate it, let's just investigate.
I don't know why we couldn't.
the only caveat to this plan is, you know, the tip board could still say no.
That's true.
They still could come up with another reason to say no, but, maybe we need to discuss it with them. You know, just let them know, hey, in the event this no longer belongs to the town, would you at least consider? What was the cost, 40,000?
It's about 40,000, I think, that's it, if I remember right, so.
There's veteran utilities through there too, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Or Center Point, sorry.
Go ahead.
Who, like if you need somebody here to represent the gym, who is that?
Probably Bill Knapp.
Probably Bill Knapp, yeah.
He's the one that's contacted us about the alley. And he also has asked us when they're finished about the sidewalks on the south side too. So that's all, when you guys are asking us for money, that's all still things that are open to, so. go ahead.
Maybe you need to explain, because I've learned this since I've been coming, that you're talking money that's not even gonna be here for this year anyway.
Correct.
You have to budget
That's right.
that for next year. And I don't think people, when they come in and ask for something like this, realizes, I didn't know that till I started listening, that you're really not doing anything else this year to the town, because that's budgeted last year. So that would be stuff that you'd have to put in for next year anyway. And I don't think people realizes that 2025 was decided in 2024. And
That's
Stacy's now
right.
working on 2026. So I think people need to understand that you're still talking for next year. Because I did not
Revenues are
realize.
going away.
Right.
Lit revenues are going away.
And we're not sure how that's gonna look either.
I know,
Next year yet.
But I don't
So-
think people realize when they come in and say, hey, can I do this? That money's already spoken for this year. And it's really for next year. And you gotta get it on the budget for next year, and now we're losing money.
And community crossings is an application as well, right? We don't know what we'll get.
You don't even know if you'll get
Or
it.
if
You
you'll
have
get
to
it.
apply for it, and then you have to be approved for it, so you don't even know. And you have to, like you're talking about getting community crossings money, you get money through tax dollars for the roads that we have now. So to get, like, I'm gonna use Franklin Lane, for example. Franklin Lane, we've put in, how long ago, it's for it to become a road, and it's still not become a road. And I don't do that. We send it off to, Evansville MPO has it right now, and so I don't know the full process of that happening, but it's been an ongoing process. And then you can't even pave it until it's on your road inventory, so it's not even in the books to even get paved next year, because we're gonna start an application in July, I think.
So for all of those reasons, that's why we came up with, well, maybe if it's not a town thing, we can get around all this bureaucracy stuff, right? If we actually deed it to the gym.
Just also to add to that community crossings grant, in the past it's been, they match whatever we have, so, if we had $200,000, they would match that, but we don't know. I read an article, we don't know that even next year, it's gonna even be available, and if it is it gonna be that exact match? We don't know that. So.
We did it 25% and they did it 75% in the past. I don't know what it is now.
So there in the article I read about it,
They may be 50/50.
it's not safe. All right. Moving on then to new business, I will let you look at that, investigate that. Yeah. All right. This one, we have some pump dispersing onto Railroad Street.
Have you already sent a
Or
letter?
to the
No, I knew you sent letters, so we didn't know what
I
kind of letter
don't
to send.
always, I sent the last ones because it was becoming a safety issue. This would be like a normal ordinance, where you could send a letter to them. I can send you the template that I use.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on then, property complaints, do we have any we needed to discuss?
Well, we have a lot of properties that are,
I mean, we can still just follow our ordinances, right?
yeah, we've sent letters and we're just, yeah, nothing that needs to be discussed.
Okay, department head reports. Randy, do you have anything?
No.
Okay, Daryl, thank you for your report to us. Fred? Do you have anything for the sewer, automation enclosures on Madison? What's this? Oh, this is what we got.
Yeah, I sent them to you in an email, but I printed them, so you have them here.
I was confused by the name. All right, you want to explain this to us, Randy?
These are automatic samplers that will be installed at the treatment plant. They will do testing 24 hours a day. That way it tells you what you actually have, your flows, your DOD, DOs. Instead of just testing that sporadically through the week or whatever, this is taking a sample. So if there's ever an expansion, you have a better set of data to go by and say, okay, we need to focus more on aeration or whatever it is, capacities. And this is kind of brought to us, kind of when we had our inspection here last month, whatever it was. He thinks it's a good way to drive where you need to be next. Ron Bill definitely on board. Reached out to Eric Smith, and he said, yeah, a plant this size needs to have 24-hour monitoring, just to see what it's like, or where the next step is going to be.
Did they tell you who uses this same device close to us?
Everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah, Hopkins County, Oklahoma City, of course, Evansville does.
Right.
I don't know if automated enclosures in that company that they're with have to work, for instance, at the new facility. I don't know.
So your sewer improvement funds? Or is that allocated already?
No, that's,
That's what we have on them.
yeah, and that's, again, you have emergency, that's where you're gonna have to take out of, and the next thing I have to talk about is, I'm gonna have to come out of there too, so.
Can we table it maybe? Or do we need
I'm
to
okay
know?
with it. Do you need to know today?
Question for Randy.
Well, if this quote's only good for 30 days, and it was on June the 11th, we won't meet again, so if we decided to go with it, then it's not gonna.
Would they honor this quote if we table this for a month?
I would say they would. If not, I can't see where it's going to vary any further.
Okay.
Okay, let's table it and then we'll look into it. All right, Stacy. You have one other thing? You have a lot of things on your list.
Mine's not much though. So, audit's about to begin, so we're gonna have to schedule an entrance meeting with the auditors. So either one of you or all of you, it's quick, it doesn't take long. Budget hearing this year is going to be August 27th at 5:30. And then the budget adoption is going to be September 24th at 5:45. Everything's moved up a month because my daughter's getting married on November 1st, and I'm not going to be around for the October meeting. So, and then the last thing, I'm going to be going to the ILMCT State Board of Accounts classes from August 10th to August 14th, and I need approval of class and travel expenditures paid.
Okay,
So I need a motion to second for that.
I make a motion that we allow, or we approve those expenditures for this training class for Stacy.
I'll second everything but food.
Works.
No.
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
I'm gonna die anyway.
Okay,
Okay, last thing is, and this isn't on your agenda because Jackie brought it to my attention a little after 4 o'clock today. So, yeah, looking at a fund report today, and we were looking at the stormwater loan that we paid, and it was 2 cents under, so I have to make a transfer for that. But when I was doing that, I seen that I am in the negative in the sewer utility operating, a negative $47,000. Granted, June's revenues don't get entered in until like July 1st. And so I have to look into, I didn't have enough time to research. I've done a report to figure out, this happened sometime in February. I don't know if something was coded wrong. So I would like to make a transfer of some money because we're not allowed to go under $77,100 in our sewer operating account. So I would like to transfer out of sewer improvement $100,000 just, and then we could probably change it back next month. But I just want to do that so we are not, until I can get it figured out. Because I didn't have enough time to
Something that we have to
do that. So hoping that, I just got a lot of research to do, and you can see this report of it. This is everything that we've spent so far this year. So I'm hoping there's something in there that we coded wrong and it's an easy fix, but I gotta do it. So I
I'll make a
just,
motion on transfer from the office, sewer operating account.
I'd second.
okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anything else, Stacy?
and you're okay with 100,000 if I do that? Okay, all right. Just an easy.
Sandy, Jody? Our next meeting will be Wednesday, July 23rd, 6 o'clock here. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second it. All those in favor say aye. Aye, meeting's adjourned.
Did you
What time
make
is
the
it?
motion?
She did, but
6:52.
yours was better.
Yes, in the Word document, so you just have to change your names.
Right.
And it makes it,
Yes,
and you just have to send it. Hey, we need to share all our addresses. So if you guys get back on the weekend.
This bag is underneath this table, I'm trying to figure out. This bag here.
Yeah.